Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix is an action RPG with a very fluid and dynamic combat system that lends itself to a lot of creative and varied strategies and boss fights. While some strategies require lots of tools, there are some that require very few. The most well-known examples that have been referred to now as cheese strategies are using Peter Pan or double negative combo. When using Peter Pan, you can stunlock many bosses by either continually doing air hits without any finishers, or some bosses allow you to just wail on them with reckless abandon. The double negative combo strategy involves using Sora's base air finisher with 2 negative combos repeatedly on some bosses, and they will never recover or retaliate. Until they do. But those strategies aren't the subject for this video. I'm here to talk about another cheese strategy, if you could even call it that. Berserk Charge and Horizontal Slash is a formidable combination that can, like the earlier mentioned cheese strats, bypass a whole fight with the stun lock. What sets this one apart is that for this to be consistent, you must time your inputs with a couple frames of leeway to keep the stun lock going. Most people probably only knew that you could do this on Xigbar and Zaldin and maybe Terra, but did you know you can also do it on Barbossa, Grim Reaper, Hades, Luxord, Larxene, Marluxia, Vexen, Lexaeus, Zexion, Roxas, Axel, Demyx, and even Sephiroth? Bosses with hard HP gates can't be bypassed by this. Sephiroth will break out into his final phase, Datavex will break out to use his DM, Datavex won't break out, but he can't be killed until he does his final set of water clones. But you can still use this to destroy most of these bosses' health bars with very few resources. Now some bosses have a little more room for error, like Xigbar and Zaldin. While the timing never changes, the frame window does. Some bosses you have 2 to 4 frames to get this input in, and some you only have that first frame. And some bosses have a lot more to keep in mind than just pressing square on time. Bosses like Roxas and Data Axel have to be pinned against the wall to keep this unlocked, and Roxas you need to steal his Keyblades as well or else it won't work. The point is, these strats do cheese the fights, but they can be unbelievably hard and intense to go for, and you seemingly drop the Berserk right as the boss gets to the last bar so often. You can either time your square input perfectly after every single horizontal slash, or you can mash the square button, but it's so inconsistent to mash. Or is it? On the PC port of Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, you can change the frame rate the game runs at. It normally runs at a crisp 60 FPS, or you can revert it to 30 FPS, restoring some strats that were done on PS2 that can't be done at 60 FPS. You can also increase the frame rate to 120 FPS. Now most people try this and don't see much of a difference, but this game does feel much more responsive. While this can be placebo, with some testing for myself, Ragnoth and Metthaios, it does seem like when you're running on 120 FPS, you can get an early square input in a few frames earlier than you could normally, giving you more chance to keep the boss unlocked. This can make timing more reasonable since the window is artificially increased, but it also makes mashing pretty viable. Normally, since no one can mash 60 times in a second, you may miss the frame window to keep the loop going. But since 120 FPS makes that window seemingly larger, you have more of a chance to keep it going. With low stats, you may have to keep that mashing up for quite a long time though, so I recommend still learning the timing if you can. Now you know everything you should need to know with the Berserk Charge and Horizontal Slash combo. Seeing how many bosses this works on, this strategy is becoming much more commonly used in Rando, and I hope this video clears up any misconceptions about the strategy. Thanks for watching.